The other day, I came across this dress for just $8. What caught my eye was the bold and fun floral print. It embodies what summer is all about. It's an extra large, so I had a lot of material to work with. To start, I laid down the foundation for the new design with this thin tape. For this transformation, I wanted to keep the sleeves and the skirt the way they were, but I wanted to make the bodice to be a milkmaid style with a corset detail. Once the tape is down, I began draping the muslin on the dress form to get my pattern pieces. To my knowledge, there are two ways to create pattern pieces: draping and flat pattern making. I prefer draping so I can see what the final piece will look like. However, for some projects, I find that flat pattern making is much easier. Once I have all my pattern pieces, I brought them over to my table and used a straight ruler and a French curve to make sure all the lines are straight. For seams that would be sewn together, I made sure that the length matches up by putting them next to each other. The cup is going to be ruched up, so I use a method called slash and spread to create the final pattern. It's simply just cutting up the pattern piece, spread them, and connect all the lines together. I was pretty nervous if this was going to work, so I did a little research and saw that the pattern piece with this type of cup is a little different than what I had, so I made some adjustments to it. Once I have opened up all the seams of the original top, I laid out all the pattern pieces and traced out two sets, one for the front facing and one for the lining. I ended up not having enough fabric for two of the lining pieces, so I went into my scrap bin and found a pattern that went well with what I was working with. If you haven't seen it, the scrap piece is from my previous flip where I turned 5 men's shirts into a summer dress. Once all the pieces for the top are cut out, it was time to construct the top. The top has ties in the front, so to create them, I cut off strips from the original skirt and then used a bias tape maker. I wasn't being super careful and burned myself on this seam. It actually wasn't that bad. When sewing small ties like these, I like to use tissue paper that I save from packages sent to me and put it underneath the ties so they don't get sucked up in the machine while I was sewing. To assemble the top, I first sewed the cups together, then the bodice, attached the cups to the main fabric, and then attached the lining. Next were the sleeves. Using the original sleeves, I created a tunnel for an elastic to go through. If you can see, I snipped up a portion of the sleeves, but that was a mistake and I ended up having to reconstruct what I had cut off. To finish the sleeves, I threaded the elastic through, tacked the elastic into place, and attached the sleeves to the bodice. Next, to finish up the dress, I was just going to regather the skirt and attach it back onto the new bodice. However, after seeing the top and bottom together on the dress form, I changed my mind. It was just way too much. The big puff sleeves, the busy pattern, the ruffles, the long skirt. It was just way too much. So I decided to pivot from making a dress into making a set. That way, I can wear the pieces separately and can get more use out of them. After some brainstorming, I decided on making a simple miniskirt. So I got to constructing it. For the lining, I used a green satin that I got super cheap at $2 a yard. I used the satin because it feels nice and soft against the body. However, because the material was so slippery and I couldn't make marks on it with my pencil, I decided to trace the pattern by hand sewing a basting stitch. It took a lot of time, but to me, sewing is a form of meditation, so I actually enjoyed the process. Putting together the skirt was pretty simple. First, I did the darts, and then the sides and hem. I repeat the same exact process for the main fabric. For the top, I finished off the hem and added a hook and eye for the closure. And this is the result. One of the things that I love about this set is the detail in the lining. It makes me happy to know that the inside of my garments are as beautiful as the outside. Thank you for watching. Until next time, bye.